States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing as I give the invocation. Almighty God, we acknowledge that you will hold us to account for the way we legislate and administer the affairs of our township and its fine people. We pray for your guidance to do so. We pray that you find us protecting the rights of all at all times, that our community and this nation will fulfill all your purposes. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Clerk Sanders, please take the roll.
Trustee King?
Here.
Trustee Taylor?
Here.
Trustee Jackson?
Here.
Clerk Sanders here. Trustee Reese?
Here.
Treasurer Kavanaugh? Here. Supervisor McCray?
Here, quorum is present. Next on the agenda is to approve the agenda.
To the chair.
Trustee Taylor,
Move that we approve the agenda.
Support.
supported by Treasurer Kavanaugh. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have no citizen comments this evening. What?
Oh,
We have no citizen comments this evening.
Yay.
Okay, that's what you were wowing at the beginning. Okay. Okay, next we have a special presentation, Director Dennis, DPS. Oh, front row? Okay, hold on one second, Mike. Well, you're supposed to fill out a form before you start.
Oh, see, I didn't know.
Okay, all right, well,
So,
How many we've had? There's two.
how many people? We have two? Okay, well, if the board's not objectionable, I'll let you two speak, but anytime anybody comes to the board to speak, there's a form to fill out at the back. I'll let you speak now, just give your name and address, and when you get done, go back there and get a form, fill it out so we have the record, okay? So, ma'am, go ahead, come on up.
my name is LaShawna Jenkins, and I stay at 15135 Seminole. And I had some concerns with the business complex that's right behind my home, the Puff Factory, Big D, and everything. About a week and a half ago, I had reached out to the ordinance officer, Courtney Herney, and he came out to my property. I've been over there for 8 years, and this has been a continuous issue with that business where their trash is blowing into my backyard, and it's just a major eyesore. I've had to hire companies to come out repeatedly to clean it up. At one point, the owner of the Puff Factory had offered me concessions towards that, but, at this point, it feels like I'm begging you. He offered to come over, keep it clean. I don't know if his employees are throwing trash deliberately in my backyard, or is it just being blown with the debris, but I have photos of it. I haven't heard back from the ordinance officer, and I was reading the township book, and I saw that this was going on this evening, so I thought that this might be a good opportunity that I can come and try to get some assistance. Like I said, it's been 8 years. Every year I'm going through this. It's ridiculous at this point. My children, they cannot enjoy their backyard. So,
Okay, well, and just so everybody knows that what we have is a listening exercise. We listen to what you have to say without interruption. We don't have conversation, but our DPS director's right in the back. Stop and talk to him quick, so while the other guy's doing his talk, because he's up next, maybe he can talk to you and set something up to help you with this problem.
okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Sir, you are up.
How you doing today? My name is Dior Wilson, address 3207 Hatherley Avenue in Flint, Michigan, 48504. I came here today to speak with the board. I had went to a car dealership in Redford, Michigan, Twins Auto on Grand River, and I reported this incident to the Redford Township Police on February 6, 2025. I was told that the transaction happened in Detroit, and my complaint was ignored. My complaint consisted of fraud, title, and bank fraud and forgery with the dealership. I showed multiple transaction papers that stated Redford address, and I reported it to the Redford Township here, and Detective Hand was assigned to it from Redford Township, and to my knowledge, he has 15 years of financial crime history, and I reported that crime, and nothing didn't happen. I had papers showing that I had a lien from Chase Auto Finance, which I never did any business with Chase Auto Finance. I was paying my car note to Exeter Finance. I reported this crime to the Redford Township, and they just ignored my complaint. I had went into the township to speak with the Sergeant Kurt Beck. I made an appointment, and I sat down with him, gave him the complaint about the officer, and he didn't give me a complaint number. I called numerous times. I've spoken with numerous people, Captain Burris. I even reached out to the chief, Ms. Mansfield. I wrote her numerous times about this. I have information. They sent my information to the MSP, to a writing analyst, and they used my own affidavit that I had gotten notarized as a question document. So the MSP said that I wrote it, and I knowingly wrote the affidavit that I had submitted, and I got it notarized from a notary, and I tried to get that issue corrected. Ms. Mansfield wrote me a letter on March 13th that said that they went above and beyond for me for this, and that Detective Hand and all officers conducted themselves in a professional manner. I was never interviewed by Detective Hand when I came with these issues. My complaints was always dismissed and said that the transaction happened in Detroit, and I had paperwork stating that my truck was sold at the Redford location, and I was trespassed from the location by Redford Township when I called them there on site February 6th, and I was under duress, and I had to sign the vehicle title 23 days later after I called the police, and I wasn't the vehicle owner of the vehicle when they came there, and I tried to show the Redford Police Station these papers, and they did not want to look at it. Okay. And I just wanted to ask the board for some help so I can get my investigation really investigated and really looked at, because if they put 2 liens on my vehicle, they did it to other people, and I'm bringing it to light. I have all my paperwork. I have the unreleased lien that I didn't put in my name from Texas, from Chase, and I just need help with the board looking at this matter and making sure that it don't go unnoticed.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, now we'll go to a special presentation from DPS Director Mike Dennis.
Mr. Supervisor, Honorable Board. It is my meeting to present our departmental report. This will be including the building, DPW, sanitation, central maintenance, and some public service activities. Currently under the building department, and this is in the handout, the department is currently not fully staffed. We are currently looking to hire a full-time building inspector, electrical inspector, and mechanical inspector. As we had a retirement in August, as you all probably recall, Jeff Johnson, our electrical inspector, passed away end of October. And our mechanical inspector, we have not had a full-time mechanical inspector in many years, and Bill Miller, who is our retired inspector, is actually going to finally retire. He's been working part-time contractual for a very long time, and end of April will be his last day with us. He will be missed. He's worked with us for a very long time. We are probably going to look into hiring a part-time code enforcement officer to go along with our 2 full-time officers right now. When we are fully staffed, we do have a building superintendent, 5 building and trade inspectors, 2 full-time code enforcement officers, and 4 office clerks. The staff, as you know, does handle multiple building inspections, rental inspections, code enforcement activities, site and zoning reviews, See-Click Fix, and our website monitoring and general community questions. We have seen an uptick, in our opinion, with our residents using the See-Click Fix app, which is great, because that means that we're getting more community interaction with our residents when they see issues out there. Our Public Works information, we do have 3 full-time staff that are considered maintenance worker 2s. They handle all of our grass cutting on our township properties, as well as, or I should say, our township facilities, not parks. This is not parks staff. We have on an average of anywhere between 50 and 60 properties that we do cut every 2 weeks throughout the township, from small lots, big lots, township buildings, et cetera. They also handle corridor cleaning, alley maintenance, garbage removal, facility repairs, snow removal, as they were very active from basically the end of December through early March. And they do assist the Redford Interfaith Relief with their monthly food pickups. We use our state truck and we go to their food pantry that is in Westland, if I'm not mistaken, and we bring their shipment over to them once a month. Sanitation and solid waste, as we all probably recall, Priority Waste acquired GFL on July 1st, 2024, which transferred our residential and small commercial municipal contract to their company. All services, garbage, recycling, and compost were transferred and assumed per the contract. It was approved in 2022. There are currently two years remaining on that contract. Yard waste collection resumes. I know it's a hot topic. Yard waste collection resumes in less than 2 weeks, the first full week of April, and it always concludes the second full week of December. Priority Waste has met with us numerous times over the last 2 years, and they actually have recently had a change where their CEO was let go in, I think, roughly January to February. And I will tell you, since that has occurred, they've had a different focus, a different view, and I expect to see some big improvements and changes in the priority waste services to us. And as I stated, Redford Township expects some big change. Oh, that's said in 2025. I'm in 2026. I copy and paste, so I'm sorry. Central Maintenance Department is made up of our 2 mechanics. They do a great job, Mechanic 4, Mechanic 5, and they do work on multiple vehicles from DPS, Parks, Police, Fire, and Court. They're always busy, and we have a very large fleet, and we are doing some updates up there with some fleet management records, maintenance records, et cetera. I want to then move on to the public services updates and collaboration. I know this is always a big topic for us regarding what's happening out on the streets and our houses and the roadways, et cetera. I know some of it was discussed at the State of the Township a week and a half ago. This is going to be a little bit of an update, but we do considerable collaboration with Wayne County Forestry. They have taken down over 300 dead or diseased trees since 2021. Wayne County started using a subcontractor called Tree Man Tree Service that does their primary tree removal during the season. They contract it out so their staff can then concentrate on emergencies, other maintenance items. But Tree Man Tree Service is the company that most of our residents would see if their tree has been identified by the Wayne County arborist. I gave you a prime example, just as our windstorm that never seemed to end there for about 5 or 6 days. Wayne County Forestry, which they're based in Westland, has a staff of, I think, 6 on the west side that they handle all of the townships in western Wayne. They were in Redford quite a bit on Friday. As some of you do know, we had 3 trees that fell on homes. We had multiple trees that fell throughout our community, and we worked very well with Wayne County. Wayne County, when I caught up with them, Wayne County Forestry, when we caught up with them on Friday, was taking down a tree that was on the right-of-way that was facing west. It blew over and led into 2 trees that were in front of their house, and it caught it before it went onto the resident's home. The county was taking it down, and they may leave the stumps there, the tree contents, and they'll come back later and pick it up. But Wayne County, they have a new manager. He's doing a great job over there. Their foreman has been working with us. We had quite a few water main breaks, and we have a water main break that's underneath a tree. We have to wait for Wayne County to come in. If they're too busy, then we hire a contractor, but Wayne County will come in, take down the tree, stump it quickly so that we can get into the water main itself and handle the work that we have to do. DPS roads, it's a big topic. There's a lot of bullet points that I'd like to touch base just briefly. We always stress that this time of the year, our residents, please contact the Wayne County Road Crew hotline at 888-ROAD-CREW concerning road issues, potholes, tree issues, stormwater, etc. This service is manned by the county 24/7, 365. They do give you a 6-digit incident number anytime that you call. That's your tracking number. They like to use the incident number compared to your address or location. Right now, it's 6 digits, so if you call them back and say, hey, I want an update in 60 days to see what's happening, you find out, you give them that 6-digit instant number, they'll pull it up, see if there's something happening, if you called about a tree. If the tree hasn't been marked, you find out why, and they'll tell you, hey, that it doesn't meet the criteria, it's not coming down. They'll say it's been resolved, it's been forwarded to which department pays, depending on the case. I keep this, the second bullet point, 5-mile road bridge replacement. The county has a proposed replacement of the 5-mile bridge that's by Bell Creek Park between Meadowbrook and Bell Creek Drive. We worked on this. We actually, the board back in '24 allowed us to, we were asked to remove a water main to move it over 10 feet to the north. Utilities have moved their poles, they moved gas lines and everything else. And the county one day, about a year and a half ago, says, sorry, we don't have any money. Well, then why do we do all this work? So we are working with them. They had a planner, they had a designer, and we're trying to find out when this project is targeted to start. Inkster Road repaving. Currently, they just finished Joy Road to West Chicago and Inkster Road last summer. They are proposing to repave on Inkster Road from West Chicago to Schoolcraft, 1.5 miles. It's right now planning to be spring, summer. And again, when I say these things are planned, they are planned. They've gone out to bid. It depends on if engineering is doing this, because they have to do bids, or if road maintenance is doing it. But this is proposed to start spring, summer of this year, and they will be taking up the old asphalt and then redoing the street, fixing any of the catch basins, curb cuts, etc. Schoolcraft Road, eastbound and westbound lanes, both from Inkster to Schoolcraft, 2 miles one way, will begin in the summer, fall of '26, and that will be completed by the Wayne County Roads Maintenance Division. Wayne County does it in-house. They were planning to do it last year. They ran behind, and I've been told it's on this year's schedule. Also, as Supervisor McCray got a very big roar, 5-mile road we have confirmed will be resurfaced only between Beach Daily and Telegraph, beginning also in the summer or fall of '26. There is proposed traffic signal upgrade modernization for Beach Daily and 7-mile intersection, which I've been told will look something like we have at 5 Mile and Beach Daily. They've also started planning design to repave Beach Daily from Schoolcraft to Plymouth Road, which will take place in the summer of 2027. My last page here on bullet points is I want to touch base because it's by itself. There's a couple small things. The Township Roads Initiative Program, maybe called TIP, as the board approved last year, we're to pave 3 miles of secondary streets. We'll begin this spring. We're working with the contractor and the county as we speak. It's a very big program for us. The township used to do this program quite a bit every year, and the county stopped the program in about 2018-19 after just before COVID, during COVID, and then they just brought it back last year. They have also just reached out to let us know they're going to do a 2026 program with a few less dollars. We were notified about a week and a half ago, and we will provide another application to them for additional roadways, hopefully be done by the fall of this year. Also depends on paperwork, IGAs, et cetera, with the county. Something I want to bring up also is the Drains Environmental Division, since last October, has been going through Redford and jetting our storm drains. It's always a big thing with us is regarding the storms because Wayne County has no maps of the Redford Township storm drain system, stormwater management system. Zero. One day they just, I don't know, caught on fire, I guess, somewhere. They do not have any mapping of Redford Township's storm drains. So this is great to see that currently they're in South Redford. They've gone to some, various areas, North Redford and main streets, and currently they're in South Redford between Joy and Plymouth, hitting every storm drain, every catch basin. If you're in South Redford, you'll see they're using orange and green paint when they're done doing their catch basin work. So the county's handling this with a company called Rogue Environmental. Rogue, they have two Vector trucks out there that look just like our Vector trucks, but they say Rogue, R-O-G-E. And lastly, there's been some discussion, we started it last year with them, and then this year, that Wayne County, the roads division staff, has been talking about reestablishing a culvert maintenance program in some of the drains. We have a few areas that are a little worse than others. There was some discussion at the end of last year to start, and I think they just got behind on programming. I'm hoping to reestablish that program. There is a new manager at the Norton Yard on Inkster Road. The prior manager just left. He got promoted, and he was a great guy. He did a lot for Redford. The new manager who took over is rah about Redford Township, and that's great to hear because he I think he used to live here, and he wants to see as many resources we can invest in our community. And then last page was just a breakdown of some of our fees and totals and inspections from the building department. So that is my report for Public Services, Building, DPW, Sanitation, Commercial Maintenance Division.
Well, thanks, Mike. It looks like a pretty thorough report. Any questions from the board?
To the chair.
Trustee Taylor?
Mike, regarding staffing, you said that you're currently advertising for these empty positions. I know that we had to do a pretty hard recruiting push for police and fire to try to fill their positions as well. Is there any methods that can be used to help you fill your departments? What are you doing for recruiting or advertising?
We are going through our normal channels. We've gone to different trade organizations in regards to our staff goes to classes at least once or twice per month. They bring this information with them. We've communicated with other communities. We do have a contract employee both doing electrical and mechanical right now. So but they're not full-time. They're working 1 or 2 days per week. On the full-time, building inspector, there's two gentlemen, and Mr. Corbin can do some inspections on a minimum basis. But
Is this advertised anywhere outside of the township that we're hiring? And do we use ZipRecruiter? Do we use anything like that?
We're
to
on
let
Indeed
people-
for a portion of time. Director Bonner could probably.
It's a HR question.
Yes, we do use all of the main job search boards and government HR jobs as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Part of it, I will say this, like for example, on the building inspector, you need at least to have a builder's license. We can work with you to try to get you the steps. I would say 9 out of 10 applications don't even have a builder's license. They're property managers who think they're going to get in. And it's like, no, you have to at least be a state certified building person, have a license. And that's been very difficult right now.
So it's a shallow hiring pool.
Yeah,
at this point.
it's still a good economy in regards to the trades. And when it's always a cycle, when the businesses start going, we start seeing a recession in the trades, then people start thinking, I'm going to retire earlier, I'm going to go into this, and it's always been a cycle. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
To the chair.
Treasurer Kavanaugh?
So I know that the ordinance officers have been advertising, but also Bill Miller, because of the window that he's going to be leaving at the end of April, is his position been advertised?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
Yep, yep. We just
All right,
found out.
very short window.
Yeah, well, it's,
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but still, okay, all right, okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Trustee Jackson.
Mike, for the TIP program, how do you identify, rank the streets?
streets that qualify, one of the first things we do, we try to distribute the funds. So they're not all in one, either north, south, or central. We try to at least do as much as, try to equally disperse the funds. So you can't have someone says you put all the money in north end and none in the south end. So once we do that, we identify roadways and then look what is needed per and look at a cost and say, let's just say Street A will cost for paving, 100,000. Street B will be 400,000. Let's say less. 300,000. We look and say, well, how much impact can we make in that area, and then jump and how much can we do in central and south. So, we make the list. I have matter of fact, I brought the list in case you asked. And it is, and we just basically rate them that way based on the length, the cost, and also what kind of, condition. If it's so bad, and then we can only do one street, like, I'll just give you a prime example. Kinlock between 6 Mile and Puritan is a school route. It is in bad shape, and there are some others in the area. Could meet it, yes, but this is a school route, so we kind of gave a little extra to that since there's a lot of traffic, and Kinlock is really one of the ways to get through in that neighborhood. There are a few other streets in the south end as well that are in really bad shape that were in one area that we're hit them all. They're narrow and the concrete is not in great shape. So this will help. So there's multifaceted. We just make the list and then kind of go between which districts.
Thank you.
No problem.
The chair.
Trustee Reed.
Mike, just a few questions. So you said for staffing, that list you have is if you're fully staffed, correct? These numbers?
If we're fully staffed,
Okay,
yes.
so if we're down 3, we have 2 inspectors.
We have
Okay.
two building inspectors and our plumbing inspectors full-time.
How much would you estimate that impacts turn time for inspections? I mean, obviously, you're down by half.
It's a few days.
Yeah, okay.
100%, yeah, I guarantee you.
With the county doing the drain jetting and cleaning, are they mapping while they're doing that? You said they have no map, or is that for a future day?
I have not gotten a full answer on that.
Okay.
I've asked.
Hopefully, if they're being so thorough, they're actually.
They're taking a very long time doing it, so I'm kind of hoping they are. I've asked a few questions about
Okay.
mapping and cameraing the systems, and and I get worried sometimes that jetting is great, but putting a camera in there is even better.
Yeah.
Because, let's say, for example, they're going down, Wakenden, and all of a sudden they have to come back 6 months later because no one put a camera down there, and it's backing up again. And I will tell you, that's prime up in the north end in a few areas. I'm trying to get them back up there where they were there in October, and we have flooding afterwards, and there must be some sort of obstruction
Yeah.
within that storm drain.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then just final question, curiosity, with the reestablishing the culvert maintenance, what exactly did that entail? I mean, culverts, so the drain ditches?
Yeah, what they would do is, there was a lack of maintenance from the property owners. Property owners will say it's the maintenance of the county. A lot of times in the past, the homeowners would weed whip and take out the garbage and stuff like that. They would sort of be because it was in front of their homes. You're seeing less of that now. And so what's happening is they're getting overgrown, the water doesn't flow. So if it gets clogged underneath, say, someone's driveway, because you have the drain underneath the driveway, that gets clogged, that water's not going anything. So anything behind that will start just backing up until it starts flooding.
Okay.
So it's nice to get that flow, that grade, say from one block to another, whatever the proper drainage is in that neighborhood, and then get those, it's not so much the pipe, it's cleaning out the culverts
Yeah,
itself.
okay.
Yeah,
Cool, thank you.
no problem.
Other questions from the board? Hearing none, thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Next is the consent agenda items. Treasurer Kavanaugh.
Thank you, Supervisor McCray. I move to approve the consent agenda items as follows. The minutes for the special meeting held on March 10th, 2026. The minutes of the regular meeting held on March 10th of 2026. The warrant list of bills as of March 18th of 2026 in the amount of $1,965,612.59. The third quarter investment earnings report, October 1st of 2025 through December 31st of 2025, on file for audit. Advertisement for bid for residential and commercial property lawn maintenance services for 2026.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next, we move to old business. Mr. Chubb, Director Bonerack.
Yeah, so today is the second reading for the amendments to the Boards and Commissions ordinance. I think we talked about it in detail. I believe Trustee Taylor was absent, but I know she's very well aware of the changes we have made in this, and it's been integral to them. I'm happy to answer any questions. I did note previously we spoke about, at the first reading, we talked about potentially changing the threshold of donation requiring voter approval to $100 and over. I'm sorry, what is the current language?
100.
The current language is donations of 100 or more.
Yes.
You suggested saying donations of more than 100.
Correct, because we thought $100 might be a kind of a common donation level. So it could be approved with that change or any other changes you see appropriate at this time.
Okay, questions from the board? Do we have any concerns with changing it to more than $100?
No.
Okay,
I think we probably should put, I'm sorry, to the chair.
yes.
I think we should probably put a dollar amount in there. Maybe 250 or 300, whatever amount we think would be better suited for what we're doing than $100. I mean, if we just say more than $100, that's really not giving
Well, it means
a guideline.
it's 101, 105, $500. I'm trying to understand. I don't mean to.
Yeah, I would say probably $500 or more.
I just want to make sure, so this provision relates to the threshold at which the board would need to be made aware of and accept the donations. So right now, we're saying more than $100 would come to the board for approval. I think you're referencing changing that figure to $500. That's a policy determination to be made by the board.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I would recommend against that. And the only reason I'm saying that is that, you know, the board, the reason why we have to put a number in there at all is that otherwise somebody could donate $1 in a donation box and technically that's supposed to come before you. And what if somebody decides to donate money that we don't want to accept money from? Right? Like what if an organization that is, you know, anathema to our morals or the public good decided they wanted to give money. Now we're going to have a public record that's under that threshold that we accepted money. That's why I think 100 is really reasonable because people will drop a 20 in the thing or at the cemetery. If it's over $100, we want to make sure you're comfortable with accepting that money.
Okay.
All right. Okay, any other questions from the board? I just want to make sure that, you know, I want to thank Adam, who worked on this diligently and put up with me while we both worked on it. Tony worked on it, and I'd like to thank him, Trustee Taylor, for helping finish this up. This has been a long time coming, so if there's no other questions, what's the pleasure of the board?
To the chair.
Trustee Jackson.
I move that we approve the second reading to amend ordinance regarding boards, commissions, and committees.
Support.
So support, moved and supported. Did you already put the,
We did not make that change, so
Okay,
if that
so-
is the wish of the board, you would need to note that in the motion, just to say with the change that the donations more than $100 would need to be
no more
approved by the
than
board.
Yes. You okay with that?
Yeah.
The $100? Yep, so it is, okay. Any other questions? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Reese?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Clerk Sanders, yes. Trustee Taylor?
Yes.
Treasurer Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Trustee Jackson?
Yes.
Supervisor McCray?
Yes, motion carries.
Great, and that'll come back in your minutes with that change.
Okay, thank you. All right. Moving on to new business. Mr. Chubb.
All right, so what is before you today is federal courts have approved a class of, they've approved a claim against certain PFAS manufacturers. So this is groups like 3M and companies like that that made a huge amount of PFAS. I think we've talked about how these are just generally these slowly degrading chemicals if they degrade at all. And the result is that they're routinely finding them in both natural settings like rivers, but they're also finding them in municipal infrastructure. And so a portion of this class action lawsuit is to determine those communities that may be impacted. It's presumed that if you have a water system in which you transmit or treat water that you are suffering from effects of PFAS that will eventually need remediation. And so we are eligible to be in that class. This is very similar to the opioid settlement that we recently engaged in that the number will be determined through ongoing negotiations typically, and then factors will be created to determine the percentage of the ultimate total settlement figure that the township would be eligible for. Also, like the opioid settlement process, all the attorneys' fees, first of all, the attorneys that will work on it have been assigned by the court, and all the attorneys' fees will be paid by the defendants in the matter. So the township does not risk any costs associated with this. It's just wholly unclear at this point what our number for recovery will be. There's certainly no guarantee on that, and whether the court will impose any limitations on the ways that it'll be spent. As you'll recall, with the opioid settlement, for example, there were very specific line items on what was a permissible expenditure. My thought is we can always find a permissible expenditure if they're going to hand us some money, and we haven't had a problem with the opioid money. And so I think that, and Mike Dennis and I briefly discussed this, certainly, cleaning up and replacement of infrastructure in water and sewer is never a problem.
To the chair.
Treasurer Kevin.
I didn't see in the paperwork when this class action started.
This has been ongoing for about a year and a half, I believe.
Okay. An approximate
But,
time.
and they just kind of move slowly, especially this one is evolving as they're still kind of figuring out the extent of the damage, and they've recently increased it. It made a reference from just PFAS to something called AFFF, which I'm not going to try to explain what that stands for, but the result of that is that you may get more defendant manufacturers is the thought. And so it's unclear when the potential settlements will start coming through, but how the opioid crisis settlement has worked is it's been by defendant, and so like you've seen some come through for specific pharmacies and things like that, and so the litigation is already well down the road against, like I said, I believe 3M is thought to be the biggest, and so we could start seeing the settlements. We just don't know when they'll actually, be completed.
Okay.
To the chair.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry.
No, okay.
With record, with you saying that this has been open for a while and record just getting in it, is this open-ended or is there a deadline?
There is a deadline, and so we would need to move on this. I believe it's by April 1st, and so that's why I wanted to bring it to you at this meeting. And there's potential the opportunity to join the class after, but I believe that there are some pending settlements that we may miss out on if we didn't move at this meeting.
Through the chair.
Trustee Reese.
Attorney Chubb, I know we didn't write this and that it's a yes or no sign up thing, but is 30% attorney fee pretty normal on these? I mean, or a third, 33% of the award, whatever it is just going for all the legal work?
Yeah, and unfortunately, that is wholly governed by the court. The reality is there is a percentage, and then on top of that, for class actions, it's common that there are a substantial amount of fees, and so the real number can be north of 50%. It's pretty exorbitant. I don't do class action work.
Yeah.
But what I would say is that, because they are assigned as counsel, we really don't have, we could potentially, like in high-level theory, we could opt out and try to go it alone. It would be literally impossible in my estimation. And so the numbers are very expensive on a percentage basis, but we don't have any risk, and the alternative would potentially be very expensive and not result in any, recovery whatsoever.
Okay, but if there were a $100 billion award for cancer-causing agents that are in our water, in our food, and our $60 billion of that could go to attorney fees, and
That would be consistent with traditional large class actions.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
To the chair.
Trustee Taylor.
Any potential payout, does that come directly to Redford municipality, or does that go to like the water provider like GLEWA, or does it have to go through Wayne County because we're not an isolated system? So would any damages come directly to us, or does it go to the provider that provides us with our services?
So we could see that in a couple different ways. What I'm asking you to sign up for today, the money will come directly to us. But additionally, if the money did go, like Wayne County would likely also be a defendant. And so in other circumstances, we've seen where they've allowed us to then apply as a member community for some of those funds that they recover if we do have an eligible expenditure that we want to make and we aren't able to fund it through our own recovery.
Has Wayne County signed up as a defendant?
I am not aware of that. I don't know that the full list has been made available yet. But what I would imagine is that every community is moving forward on this yet. So I would absolutely assume that they would.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions from the board? Hearing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
To the chair.
Trustee Taylor.
I move that we approve the resolution of the Township of Redford authorizing the execution of the legal services agreement related to the AFFF product liability litigation.
Support.
Supported by Treasurer Kavanaugh. The motion is for approval of the resolution, the Township of Redford authorizing execution of legal services agreement related to the AFFF product liability litigation. Any other questions? Roll call vote.
Trustee Taylor?
Yes.
Clerk Sanders, yes. Trustee Reese?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Treasurer Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Trustee Jackson?
Yes.
Supervisor McCray?
Yes, motion carries.
Those are my items for tonight. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Director Monroe.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, Honorable Board. Before you this evening is the annual final budget amendment for the general fund for fiscal year 2026. As I said in my memo, and I probably say every year, it is always challenging to do the final budget amendment, and in many ways, it's much more difficult than actually putting the budget together is, because not only do you now have to go back through and try to spot check to verify that out of the hundreds of thousands of transactions that things were placed where they were supposed to be, there's always the delay because we're an accrual-based system. So for example, in your consent agenda, you just approved the third quarter investment earnings. Well, it's now approaching the end of the fourth quarter. I'm not going to have that number until sometime in May, and it's going to get put back into here, right? So it's this estimation game, and you don't want to estimate too high, and you don't want to estimate too low, and so that's why I just always say I do my best, and nothing is ever truly final until you see the auditors come September. But we did finish the year more or less as expected. I did make a note on there. We approved the budget from an overarching departmental perspective, revenues and expenses. So that's how it's presented to you here, because it has to match the way we did it back a year ago. And I made the note there that we changed the way that this is the first year that we were in the hard cap for the insurance, so it changed the way that we did the budget allocation for insurance and healthcare. So that impacted every single department. So I only really made a note if the reason for the variance was not related to the healthcare and pension attribution. And so for the most part, there were very few. I do want to draw attention to, in particular, where we're sending money in appropriations on page 2 for Department 21900, which is that list of transfers. Most of these were expected. I just want to make sure that I'm just drawing attention. So, we moved most of the leisure services expenses out of the general fund and over to the rec center for this year, even though it wasn't open the whole year. And that's really the primary reason why we're sending cell phone tower revenue over there and some general fund money. That's the money that would have normally been spent in the general fund really anyway. So it's not unusual. And then we had depleted the reserves in the E911 fund when we did all those dispatch upgrades. So we have to do a little bit to cover there. It's just kind of a peculiarity in the way that staffing from payroll got put on the books. And so the staffing on the SAD side looks over budget, and the staffing on the general fund side for police and fire looks under budget. And so that's the only reason it's moving back and forth. It's entirely possible that in the end, that the auditors will move the money from SAD back to the general fund, do the opposite, but the net impact will be the same. And then I am suggesting that we put aside $500,000 again for future road improvements. So that would be in addition to what was put aside last year, hoping that that program does continue again for the future. That we put $400,000 aside for this project we're hoping to do here in Ellsworth, the Marquee, and fixing this one way. And then, as usual, just putting some additional money towards our accrued expenses. So that's the fund where everybody has banks of time for leave and vacation and sick time that when they retire, they get paid out. So we pay them out from that fund. And so I always try to put money there so that we don't run the risk that if we have more retirements or separations than we anticipated, that we have to try to find that in the general fund. So if for some strange reason, the auditors come back and say, no, you made a typo somewhere, you don't actually have as much left as you thought you did, I would back those out in reverse order. Other than that, I think it is ready for adoption and whatever questions you may have.
Okay, questions from the board? No questions? Okay, well then what's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chair,
Trustee Jackson.
I move approval of the adoption of fiscal year 2026 general fund amendment.
Support.
Board Trustee Reese. The motion is for approval of the adoption of the fiscal year 2026 general fund amendment. Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Clerk Sanders, yes. Trustee Jackson.
Yes.
Treasurer Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Trustee Taylor.
Yes.
Trustee King.
Yes.
Trustee Reese.
Yes.
Supervisor McCray.
Yes, motion carries. Director Bonner.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The other item that I have on the agenda is bringing forward this facility management services contract with Rewald and Ezzo. We do have with us Sean Rewald this evening from Rewald and Ezzo. And as I said in my memo, this has been a topic that we've been discussing for some time, just as the complexity of our buildings has grown, and also a desire to create more uniformity in the way that our systems run, our processes run, and our data collection. And also just as I noted, there's also the element of institutional knowledge transfer, right? So we're always looking down the road to how do we make sure that if any of the department heads aren't here tomorrow, that we have somewhere written down the information that may be in their head and not anywhere else. And so really that's what this proposal is primarily primarily about. And so it's essentially hiring for this first year, more or less, a full-time person. And that person will then be expensed out through our central maintenance fund, the same way that we do central maintenance costs now, back to the various departments and funds based on their actual usage, as that person who will be dedicated to Redford Township, is exploring and working on those systems and process, needs. And so this person will primarily be working with Director Dennis and myself, along with input, of course, from Supervisor McCray and all of the department heads, since it will be somebody who at some degree will interface with all of the departments and all of our buildings township-wide. So I don't have any way of predicting right now what the cost may be for year 2, but as I'm sure you saw in the detailed proposal, I really think, almost all of the cost improvement measures that they're suggesting all had a return on investment of, 2.5 years or less. So it's not going to take much for us to make back the money that we're making from this investment. And as I said, Mr. Ewald is here as well. If I don't know if you'd like to say anything or if you have any questions for him.
Okay, well, I just want to say that I think this is a really good program. We're being proactive with what we're doing, so we're get ahead of everything instead of being reactionary. Something boiler blows or something, and we're going to have a list. It'll be computerized, and I'm sure you'll kind of briefly tell us, but it's pretty phenomenal, really. It's a really good program for making sure preventative maintenance is a big deal.
Yes, no, exactly. It'll be all digital. We'll have the ability to fill you in on, monthly and quarterly reports as needed. The program actually gives you all types of statistics, like how quickly we're reacting to preventative maintenance issues or work tickets, and the goal is to become proactive instead of reactive for all of your buildings. And that may take a little bit for us to get our arms around it, because there is a lot of sites that we'll be taking on, but once we do that, the system will be awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess questions from the board. I mean, this is a very complex program, but I think it's something we needed. We talked about, being proactive, and it also doesn't mean that we're not being proactive. What it means is that going through this, we're going to find out where we are being proactive, find things that we might have missed for whatever reason, and other things we need to adjust to make sure that we are being proactive. So by no means am I saying that township is just running wild by anything. It's just that this is a more sophisticated way to identify all the problems for every building, not just the ones that we are in most of the time. So.
Absolutely. And as we all know, Director Dennis really does yeoman's work on, everything that he does in DPS and in facilities in general, but especially with projects like CSO and everything else, we really need his attention focused on, these massive, once in a generational, once in our township history size projects, right? And so we need to make sure we're deploying resources in the best way to create the best efficiencies for the township.
Great. So questions from the board?
To the chair,
Trustee Jackson.
you actually answered the question that I have. That we could assume that this is going to free up employees who were actually doing some of this work, in particular Director Dennis. So I just wanted to make sure that.
Sure.
Absolutely. That really is the goal, here, because, because otherwise, it turns into Director Dennis teases me because he says I don't have enough piles of paper in my office, right, of the various, projects that are going on. And I'm always thinking, no, that's because you have too many going on, right? That's part of the problem, and the more, it just opens us up for potentially something to slip through the cracks.
To the chair.
Trustee Reese.
So these various capital improvement, or I should say BMS schedule optimization, air balancing, and control adjustments, those are all services or things we would do that are additional cost, but that they would help us figure out when, whether to do those things. Is that right?
Yeah, a combination of both, right? And so, and again, they're working for us. They're not, right? So they don't have any authority to do anything or expend any funds without running that through us first. So, some of those things, there may be a BMS system, but where is it tracked and who has the information and who besides Mike has the information? Are we using the same system in the town hall as that we're using in the stage building as we're using in the rec center building, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's even those types of things. So some of those costs we may already be spending, and that's where I'm saying we may end up realizing savings from the economies of scale from simply standardizing that process. May not actually end up being an additional cost at all.
So for example, we could have like a security system across all buildings, but we're utilizing it differently, and this would help come up with a plan of, here's how we use it, here's who's using it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
That's great. And then the annual cost, I know probably nobody wants to say this, but is this something we're typically, the first year's the most, and then we whittle it down, or is it like, this is probably what it takes into perpetuity?
It's a really good question. It's hard to answer that until we get in.
Yeah.
I really think our mobilization phase with the township's going to be critical here. We need to diagnose the buildings. Our goal is to pay for ourselves and, be here less, honestly. But I can't honestly answer that until we start our investigation.
Okay.
To the chair?
Treasurer Kavanaugh.
Just a quick question, I don't think he can answer it, that you might be able to. Is that, okay, is this, I love the word digital, absolutely. Would we be getting into the weeds as far as work orders and that kind of thing, as far as, oh, God bless you, okay. I'm good.
Yeah,
That was all. She just went through.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because right now, it's just, it's repetitive, it's paper, and it, yeah. So, okay, thank
Trustee
you.
King.
Where else do you offer this type of service? Any other communities?
We do not work for a municipality. We do the OPC, the Older Persons Commission in Rochester, the Detroit Museum of Contemporary Arts. So we have several clients, but no municipalities.
Okay. Adam, what's the termination clause for this agreement?
I believe it's 30 days.
30 days.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we, as you may have gathered, because his last name is Rewald, right? Like our initial introduction to Rewald and Ezzo was from our work with Rewald and Sons from the construction side of the recreation center. And so that was how we kind of met them, initially.
Other questions from the board? I think this would be a very good marriage for the township. It'll do a lot of positive things for our workers here, for our buildings, and we'll be able to track everything. We won't have to worry about where did that piece of paper get put. It'll all be digitized and we'll have it.
Right.
So there's a lot of advantages and pluses to it, so. With that being said, what's the pleasure of the board?
To the chair.
Trustee Reese.
I move approval of service agreement with Rewald and Ezzo for facility management services.
We have to add.
Support.
I'm sorry, we have to add on the end, the amount and the funds that it is coming out of. So if you can,
Let me jot that down. What's
the
the,
second page of
Yeah.
The amount?
memo.
It's 144,216. It's Fund 631.
Fund 631? 144,216, Fund
Yep.
631? Okay.
631.
631. All right. Maybe toggling between two things. I move approval of service agreement with Rewald and Ezzo for facility management services in the amount of $144,216 coming from Fund 631.
Support.
Been moved and supported. So the motion on the floor is for approval of a service agreement with Rewald Izzo for facility management services in the amount of $144,216 out of Fund 631. Any other questions? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Trustee Taylor?
Yes.
Trustee Jackson?
Yes.
Clerk Sanders, yes. Trustee Reese?
Yes?
Treasurer Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Supervisor McCray?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you, and thank you for
Thank you
coming
all.
tonight.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Director Dennis.
Mr. Supervisor, Honorable Board, in front of you tonight is a memo from myself looking for the board to approve a 12-month moratorium on auto repair facilities here in Redford Township. We have been working diligently on this topic over the last week or two. there's a package that I did provide to you prior to the meeting, and I wanted to have you look at it, that there's a map, and I compiled a spreadsheet for you to review. The spreadsheet is roughly 4 pages, identifying different columns in regards to the type of repair facilities. Now, my spreadsheet includes repair facilities, gas stations, car dealerships. I just want to give you a general idea on this spreadsheet of all auto-related businesses we have in Redford Township. When you look at all of them, there are 161 locations, but 165 services that are offered that within the automotive business. If you go to the map, actually mapped it out, I had it mapped out, and there is 165 auto-related businesses, and they're detailed by auto sales dealerships, auto repair, collision, oil, tire, at 82. There are 82 current businesses that are within that business type. 25 gas stations, and then there's other, which is car washes, electrical vehicle charging, parts retail, in general at 24. So I am looking to, in regards to this moratorium, is just for auto repair facilities. Some folks on this board may not know, but back in 2018, we did a moratorium on the vehicle dealerships. Spent a good took a good hard look at this topic. When we did it, it was over 2018 and 19. We came up with some very good new rules regarding, we looked at buffers and lot sizes and types of facilities. We then revisited again in 21, 22 to tighten it up a little bit more. And so that I think we have a very good ordinance on, and obviously gas stations are something else. But this is looking at auto repair facilities. We're seeing a big increase in applications in, site committee between, new locations and existing for repair facilities and collision shops. And it's something that Redford Township would like to see different types of businesses moving into our community, where we've had an adoption. I'll just say this, in the last 12 months, a company bought a sort of a sports wholesaler, and they converted it to a muffler shop. They met the criteria, but it meets the current zoning. It's not a good use for that location. We use the tools that are available to us. So I wanted to show this board in regards to how many current repair facilities we have, the mapping of them, and again, they're broken down in different symbols. I know it's not the easiest to read, but it is the best we could do. And just discuss that this moratorium would if you do grant it, will allow us up to 12 months to present this to the Planning Commission and come back with a plan to this board. And allow us to look at the different zoning for potential buffers. Again, this is only to new facilities, not current. It's the same thing with the used car lots. I will tell you that in regards to the used car lots, there are 2 that, since we've started this, 2 or 3 that are no longer used car lots. So it does work. They've found a different use. So we can look at buffers, lot sizes, in regards to that type of business, limit the types. Moratoriums, as you have seen out there, are becoming a little more frequent to allow a community to review the ordinance that just puts a halt on new applications. Just in the last week, I will tell you that I've received 2 phone calls in the last about 72 hours from folks that want to convert existing, one used to be automotive, it turned into a distributor, into a muffler shop. That's not something with use. It's right next to an automotive repair center. And there's another one looking at another building on 7 Mile. And if you look at the different locations, I broke this down by street for you as well. It's something we need to look at to see what we can do to change this there's nothing wrong with these businesses. It's not what I'm going for. We need to reevaluate the type of uses we have on our zoning. I know we're going to do the zoning ordinance update. That's going on. It's starting. This is something different to that. It will probably be working with that somewhat, but it allows us some leeway to work up some changes as needed within the zoning ordinance.
To the chair.
Treasurer Kavanaugh.
This is more just a comment about this because I know since 2020 and COVID and of course the moratorium that a lot of these auto sales have turned into mechanicals, but I'm really surprised how there's 22 on Plymouth and 24 clustered on Telegraph. And that's just surprising as to how that is
I drove
accumulated.
that the other day.
Yeah.
And they are in clusters.
Yeah.
You'll have 4 to 5 in one cluster, then you'll have a gap of a mile, then you'll have a couple, then you have a gap. On Plymouth Road, I do call that the used car capital of Southeast Michigan. On Plymouth Road, we have 13. And then you have them that also, they do work just on their own cars. They can't have like, Treasurer Kavanaugh, you can't take your car to this place, but they do fix their own. So they're still considered an auto repair because they're fixing cars.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to look at. We have to look at because we do, Supervisor McCray has been on, site committee, that when you're at site committee, you give them as many rules and regulations as you can, sitting there. These are the rules, this is the motion, this is what you can do. We even right now with used car lots, if one is there, we have a site plan brought up and we count the spots and it's in the motion that says you're allowed 17 cars to sell. So when our code enforcement officers or our bill inspectors go out there and they see 22 and because they're starting to stack them, we said, no, it says you could have 17 because that's how many spots you have. And it's something that I think that is working since we've started that moratorium. And this, I'm hoping, will have the same effect in regards to, for future use on auto repair facilities.
Thank you.
No problem.
Other questions from the board?
To the chair.
Trustee Taylor.
Mike, just for clarification, because you have it under automotive uses by type, you've got it auto repair, collision, oil and tire, total of 82. There's no mention about a moratorium on tire. Is tire
Yeah, it's
included in section 1?
It's in it's defined, if I'm not mistaken.
It's not,
was it
it's
missed?
not listed under the,
Sorry, I have a lot of
it's
stuff.
engaged in business operating and maintaining establishments, providing repair, including, but not limited to, general repair, oil change, engine rebuilding and reconditioning. I don't see tire specifically listed in this resolution as
If this
well.
goes through, could we do a friendly amendment to change that?
To add tire, that's
add
what I was
tire.
wondering.
Absolutely,
Since you have
yes.
it grouped here, if it should also be included in section 1 of the resolution.
100%. I have oil change, tire, collision. Yes, please.
Yeah, tire's just missing from that section.
Sorry. Definitely, make sure.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Other questions from the board? I'm glad we're taking a look at this because our township has went through several waves of different businesses. Sometimes we get overrun with, from nail parlors to resale shops to storefront churches to all kinds of different things. And when these runs start happening, we need to take a step back and look at it and see what do we want our community to look like. And Plymouth Road, you go on Plymouth Road and it's repair shops and car dealership things. I mean, it's tough in a neighborhood when you have all that kind of business going on in your neighborhood. So I think anytime we can take a pause for a year, look at it, see if there's a better way to do it. We should be doing it with anything that has to do with zoning in our township to make it a better place to live. Absolutely.
Agreed.
So, any other questions? Hearing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chair,
Trustee King.
I move approval of a resolution imposing a 12-month moratorium on the acceptance of new applications for auto repair facilities as amended.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. The motion is approval of the resolution imposing a 12-month moratorium on the acceptance of new applications for auto repair facilities as amended.
Mr. Supervisor?
Yes.
Do we also have to, part of the motion, to add the word tire into the resolution, tire shop?
As amended.
As amended.
As amended, okay, all right.
Okay, we're good?
Just want to verify.
Okay.
Yep. Sorry.
So let's get a roll call vote on that.
Trustee Jackson.
Yes.
Trustee Reese.
Yes.
Clerk Sanders, yes. Treasurer Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Trustee King.
Yes.
Trustee Taylor.
Yes.
Supervisor McCray.
Yes, motion carries. Thanks for doing this work, Mike. Next, Chief Mays.
Good evening, Supervisor McCray, Honorable Board. I am here tonight seeking approval of the contract with Motor City Floors and Coatings for the South Fire Station Bay Floor Refurbishment Project, the amount of $41,585. Funding will be allocated from Fund 402, the Capital Improvement Fund. When we're talking about the bay floor, we're talking about where we park our apparatus. So the drive-through area, not the living quarters. That was a whole separate project we completed as far as flooring in the living areas of the station. So we're moving out to the bay, the concrete, and it's epoxy coating. It's deteriorated over time. It's original to the building, 1999, so we're 27 years in. 20,000, pound fire trucks driving over this. Oil, salt, it's been chipping away. It's well overdue to have a fresh coating. We did go out multiple contractors for bids and found a product that it's got the best warranty, a 15-year warranty compared to epoxy products, which the other warranties were 1 year. So that tells me something right there. This product, and I might, it's called polyaspartic coating. It's just a polymer. It's different than epoxy. It's more durable. It's more flexible. It's more chemical resistant. I talked to another public safety department that had used Motor City as well about 4 years ago and said, what's the state of your floor? What's it look like now? And they said, it looks almost brand new, right? It's lasted. They haven't had any follow-up problems. I'm looking to go with this company and this product. Like I said, a 15-year warranty blows away the competition as far as epoxy, right? And the other greatest part is they came in at the lowest cost as well. So I provided, as part of the packet, I think 3 or 4 different quotes within there. One of the products, or one of the companies, it was epoxy. Another one of them was like a hybrid system. And then Motor City was the first with this polyaspartic coating. They're going to put an extra layer of top coat on the top. And I think it's going to turn out great. I think they're the right company to go with, and I'll take any questions if you have them.
Well, so this company, when they put this on, are they talking about how long that lasts? I mean, we had the floor there, it's been all that time with all those fire engines on it. How long is it gonna last, and what kind of warranty do we have that if we get it on there and we drive a truck on there and it cracks?
Sure. So for residential warranties, they're 25 years. Commercial with fire trucks and all that, we're looking at 15 years of a warranty.
Okay.
Which, like you said, blows away the competition. Our floor, as it currently sits, it was well overdue to be refinished. It's a project that's been out there just unable to accomplish.
Okay.
So money was set aside well ago. Probably was due to be done before COVID, if we really look at it. So at this time, it's kind of unsafe. There's no grip left on the floor, and it's chipping away. That being said, they're completely confident that they can refurbish this and look like brand new.
Okay. Questions from the board?
To the chair.
Treasurer Kavanaugh.
I'm assuming that we don't have cove base and vertical surfaces because it says the pricing isn't included, so we don't have that?
No, just a standard flat floor.
Flat, okay.
Yes.
And the installation time is a week?
Yes, we're looking at a week, and what they're gonna do is, so we can stay obviously in service, they're gonna do half the bay.
Oh.
And we can put our trucks over there, and then we can move a couple of our backup trucks up to the north end. And then it'll take 2 to 3 days to do one side of the bay. Then we'll move everything over, because you can put stuff, I think it's within 24 hours back on that. We'll probably give it a little more time if we need to,
Yeah.
right, to be safe. And then they'll move over and do the other side of the bay. So we're looking at about a week. We're looking maybe mid-April timeframe and talking with them about their schedule. So looking to hopefully get this, if it's approved, done in about the next month.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions from the board?
To the chair.
Trustee Taylor.
I move to approve the contract with Motor City Floors and Coatings for the South Fire Station Bay Floor refurbishment project in the amount of $41,585. Funding will be allocated from Fund 402, the Capital Improvement Fund.
Support.
Supported by Trustee Reese. Okay, so the motion on the floor is for approval of the contract with Motor City Floors and Coatings for the South Fire Station Bay Floor refurbishment project in the amount of $41,585. Funding will be allocated from Fund 402 Capital Improvement. Any other questions? Roll call vote.
Clerk Sanders, yes. Trustee Jackson?
Yes.
Treasurer Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Trustee Taylor?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Trustee Reese?
Yes.
Supervisor McCray?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Director Mancini.
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor, Honorable Board. I come before you tonight with a bid recommendation for the Downtown Development Authority's 5 Mile Beach Daily Streetscape, Rose Garden Town Hall Complex, and Marquee Landscape Maintenance Contract. We put out an RFP, and the bids came back on March 12th. We had 2 bidders. Parrot Landscaping bid $27,576.49. The next bidder was JBL Services, and they bid $48,777.50. I would like to award the contract to Parrot Landscaping out of Clinton Township in the amount of $27,576.49. This contract will be paid out of Fund 248, the Downtown Development Authority Tax Increment Financing Funds.
Questions from the board?
To the chair.
Trustee Jackson.
Director Mancini, what does this include? I know it includes like all of the flowers that they hang during the summer.
No, it actually doesn't include that. That's a separate purchase. And we have a part-time seasonal employee that waters those. They do hang those baskets for us, and then they do take them down, but that's the extent of what they do with the baskets. This would be grass cutting in the right-of-way all through the DDA, the Town Hall Complex, Marquee. They do the sprinkler systems, they do weeding, fertilizer, weed kill. It's a pretty extensive contract. They empty the garbage all year round. It goes from April to March 31st. So this is the company that was doing it last year. They're still doing that contract for us. They also hang our banners, which we change almost monthly now. So their contractors charge us, we just pay the hourly amount that's in the contract, and they do that every month for us.
Thank you.
Other questions from the board?
To the chair.
Treasurer Kavanaugh.
You said that they did it last year. Is this competitive price higher or lower?
So this is a little bit higher than last year. The other bidder last year was also JBL Services. They were also in the $40,000 range. They went up approximately $8,000 from their bid last year, and the other contractor also went up, I think it was more than $8,000, so I'm assuming it's for, materials.
Yeah.
Because they put all the mulch in the beds all along the DDA, et cetera.
Okay, thank you.
Rick Mancini, is there anything in the contract that says that with the way things are and the gas prices that are like going through the roof, is there an adjustment in there that's in their contract?
No, sir.
So we need to lock this in soon.
Yeah, this is the contract.
Okay. Other questions from the board? Hearing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
To the chair,
Trustee Jackson.
I move approval of the bid recommendation Downtown Development Authority, DDA, Beach Daily and 5 Mile Streetscape, Rose Garden, Town Hall Complex, and Marquee Landscape / maintenance contract to be awarded to Parrot Landscaping LLC in Clinton Township, Michigan, 48035 in the amount of $27,576.49 to be paid from Fund 248, Downtown Development Authority Tax Increment Finance, the TIP funds.
Support.
Supported by Treasurer Kavanaugh. The motion on the floor is for approval of the bid recommendation Downtown Development Authority, DDA, Beach Daily and 5 Mile Streetscape, Rose Garden, Town Hall Complex, Marquee Landscape, maintenance contract be awarded to Parrot Landscaping LLC, Clinton Township, Michigan, 48035 in the amount of $27,576.49 to be paid from Fund 248, Downtown Development Authority Tax Increment Financing TIF funds. Any other questions? Roll call vote.
Trustee Reese?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Clerk Sanders, yes. Trustee Taylor?
Yes.
Treasurer Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Trustee Jackson?
Yes.
Supervisor McCray?
Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Next, new business number 7, Clerk Sanders.
So tonight I bring before you the redistricting of the precincts, the polling precincts. We went from 16 previously down to 12, because back in February of '24, they actually changed the law where you can have, 4,999 registered voters at a polling location. So myself and also Deputy Seaside went and we made sure that we checked these locations, the things that we looked for to ensure that they were ADA, to make sure that they had parking, lighting, security. And these were the locations that we were able to come up with and work with. And we also have a great working relationship to ensure that we have someone to contact the night before the elections and also the day of elections to ensure that we have access to the building, to ensure that we're open on time. So this is what I bring before you all tonight in order to vote on for our new precincts.
Okay, well, I think it looks really good. I think that I'm pretty happy because I get to vote at the community center, the New Rec and Wellness Center, so I'm all right. So, yeah, I know. I like that. That was great.
Awesome. I thought that was an awesome location.
Yeah, awesome location, yes.
Yeah, I'm very thankful to
So,
Teresa.
Yes, so,
To the chair, after you.
okay, through the chair, and that's about all I get to say. I think that this is a lot of work to make this happen. It looks pretty in color and everything, but to figure out where's the best place and where to draw the lines, it's not an easy task, so I congratulate the clerk's office for their effort in making this look as good as it does, so. Treasurer Kavanaugh.
Just a quick question is, when will voters start getting their numbers as far as where they're supposed to go, or if it was consolidated?
Once this is approved by the board, then we start sending out voter information cards ASAP.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Through the chair.
Trustee Reese.
Clerk Sanders, I know with our 16 precinct setup, it was hard to staff them all. And
Absolutely.
so part of this is to consolidate so we have good staffing at these locations. Is that right?
Absolutely, and it's also to save on resources, not just human resources, but also financial resources as well. I'm sorry.
Is it coming through now? Okay, go ahead, you do it. You just come through.
Oh, okay, my apologies. Yes, but it's going to allow us to save not only on human resources, because not only our jurisdiction, but many jurisdictions are finding it hard to find individuals to assist us when it comes to voting. And to fill those polling locations. So this is going to help with that, and also in terms of equipment, we'll save money there by shrinking our locations. And also in terms of security, we'll be able to better ensure managing not only the elections, but the voters as well. So it'll make it more manageable for us.
Yeah, that's great. And another question, I know we've had to juggle locations a lot. This
Yes.
kind of solves that. That's the hope, right? That these are more permanent
Yes,
locations.
these are more permanent locations, and these are locations, again, that we foster great relationships with, so we can ensure that we have access to the buildings in the time that we need in order to have a, successful election here in Redford.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions from the board?
Just one question,
Trustee
Mr.
King.
Chair. Are we in a solid agreement with World Peace Outreach? Because we've had some kind of, some iffy communication with them in the past.
And World Outreach is no longer one of our polling locations.
Okay.
Yes.
There you go.
There we go.
So,
So,
To the chair.
Trustee Taylor.
That would lead me to the question regarding the Commonwealth of Faith Church. Is this a new location for us?
This is a new location. I'm very excited to be utilizing their church. They reached out. We went and viewed the location. It's a wonderful location, and they are excited to be working with us. So
So they're willing to come in, obviously, on a day that the
Yeah.
church usually isn't up and running and that kind of thing?
absolutely, they've
Okay.
extended themselves to us.
I was just curious only because it seems like the majority of these we're utilizing our schools. And I know that we have like Pierce down there, and we used to use Pierce, that's not a location that we're using anymore. Is it more beneficial to use like a private church versus one of our schools?
Well, the reason that we went with them is because of the size. Again, because we were able to consolidate, which means that we were able to make the numbers higher. So this location has a great parking lot, and it also has a great size-wise location for us to set up voting equipment and make it smoother for voters coming in and out.
Great.
Yep. So logistically, it was
Just a good location all around?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Other questions from the board? Hearing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
To the chair.
Trustee Reese.
I move approval of Redford Township's new permanent precinct locations following the precinct consolidation.
support.
Supported by Treasurer Kavanaugh. Motion on the floor is for approval of the Redford Township new permanent precinct locations following the precinct consolidation. Any other questions? Do we need a roll call on that? or-
No.
No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Clerk Sanders, you're up again.
Okay, and lastly, for the clerk's office, not for the agenda, we have, sorry to get people happy, sorry about that.
It's all right.
We have the approval of the Redford Township early voting location, which will be held here at Town Hall. And we did choose to do the 9 days of voting. And we have the resolution here that stipulates, again, the nine days and the hours from 8:30 to 4:30. And I want to make sure, yep, pretty much, that's it.
We don't have, do we have to have more than one place, or whatever the rule is, that we only have to have one place for early voting, or,
No, you're absolutely allowed to have more than one location,
but you don't have to?
but you do not
Oh.
have to. No, the things that they're more stickler about is the number of days that you are given. So we chose to do the 9, that's the minimum that you can do.
Questions from the board? Hearing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
To the chair.
Trustee Jackson.
I move approval of Redford Township's early voting resolution.
Support.
Supported by Trustee Taylor. So the motion is for the approval of the Redford Township early voting resolution. Any questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Last but certainly not least, we have an appointment to the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Commission of Randy Bullock.
Randy Bullock.
Randy? I'm trying to read it how it's written, that's all. And if you come around long enough, you know I'm not good at that. So I apologize to everybody up front. Go ahead.
Greetings, Supervisor McRae and the Honorable Board. My name is Anjanette Davenport Hatter, AJ, and I am the Chair of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Commission. And I'm a firm believer in many hands make light work, the African proverb. And so we're really excited to have a candidate that the commission voted for recommendation for appointment. And her interest statement has been provided to the board. And if it pleases the board, I would like to call Randy to share some remarks.
Please.
Don't worry, I'm not going to fall out. But I am very happy to be nominated for this position to work on the commission. I've been in public relations for over 50 years. I started in 1973. I was the first African-American to work in public relations for the Detroit Medical Center in public relations, as well as any major hospital in the state of Michigan. So I've had years and years and years experience in working with diverse communities and doing it successfully. Most recently, shortly before I retired, I worked for Chrysler Corporation in their diversity marketing department. And my responsibility was to travel across the country to 25 major cities to talk about Chrysler's diversity program in marketing cars. And their theory was to put butts in seats. They didn't care what gender you were, what color you were, what religion you were, or anything. It was just to bring them, the community and the consumers to the brand and keep the brand loyal. So that's what I did. I came up with projects and programs that I presented all across the country. One of them was called Spirit in the Words. It was a poetry program where we invited people to come in certain communities that we talked to write poems. And we published those poems in a booklet, and Chrysler used to use those booklets to send out to their loyal consumers in order to show that they are totally interested in the people that spend money in there for them. So there are many different ways to bring in diversity into a community. They don't always have to be, excuse my pun, black and white, but diversity is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that means we're going to include everybody. Everybody. That doesn't mean that you have to be black or Hispanic or Native American or even white, a white male. They're included. That's part of the whole diverse community. And what I'd like to say about diversity, when I was first started working, it was just a buzzword. But what it brings to a person and a community is knowledge, empathy, and understanding. And I think it's important, especially in this day's world. So if you have any questions, I'm here. Again, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity. I've been in Redford since 2018, and I enjoy the community, and I see a lot of potential, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you.
Any questions?
To the chair.
Trustee Jackson.
I was actually blown away when I read all the things that you have done.
Thank you.
So congratulations on all of your accomplishments. And I think we need to thank you for coming forward and being able and being willing to share all of that experience and knowledge with us. So I, for one, am very, very happy to see you join our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Commission.
Well, I'm really thankful for the opportunity because, as you know, I'm on oxygen, as you see. And I had heart failure a couple of years ago. I was feeling good. I didn't have any outside, other than being shortness of breath. And I thought the shortness of breath was because of COVID. I thought maybe because I was carrying a mask on all the time that I thought that was causing my shortness of breath. Well, I found out I had heart failure from blood clots. And so I need something to keep me going. I need something to keep me at work, keep my mind going, to keep me active. And I think this is one of those opportunities, and that's one of the reasons why I volunteered to possibly be on the board, and I really, not the board, the commission. So I really, really hope that, and very happy that you would consider me. That's it.
Anything else from the board? No? Okay. What's the pleasure of the board?
To the chair.
Trustee Taylor.
First, I would like to say thank you, Randy, for stepping up and showing interest in this position, especially, like you said, in this time in our world. Empathy is definitely, I think, in shortage, so anytime that we can promote that is a good thing. So with your qualifications, I think you're going to be an amazing fit. So with that, I would move that we approve the appointment of Randy Bullock to the Redford Township Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Commission, term expiring March 28th of 2028.
Support.
Okay, supported by Treasurer Kavanaugh. So the motion on the floor is for the appointment of Randy I. Bullock to the Redford Township Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Commission, term expiring 3/28/2028. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations and welcome aboard. Come to that fine time in this meeting, announcements.
I just have a few.
Okay.
Since we did vote for the permanent locations, I just want voters to be aware that you will get new information cards that will come out to you. And also, we are doing, again, I'm just going to continue to say these at every meeting so people can know and come out, but our shred day, we did bring that back. So we will be having that one this year. It'll be May 16th, 9 to 1 here in front of Town Hall. If you have any questions, please call the clerk's office. We can give you more information. And also, we do have a clerk's page that you can go on and find more information. And also, we are going to host a blood drive May 7th down at the community center. So every donor or every individual or donor that comes and donates blood, you will be entered into a free drawing to win a one-year membership at the new Rec and Wellness Center. So I just want everybody to be aware of that. And that's all I have.
Okay.
To the chair.
Trustee Reese.
I think the last two meetings have been birthday announcements, but I wanted to announce a new birth for my son 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Second son. Taking the privilege to say it out loud. So James was born exactly 2 weeks ago. I was doing great. My wife Nicole's doing great. I'm sure she's cursing me right now saying, "Where is he?" So when this meeting is over, I'm going to jump in. But I just wanted to share that, and really glad to be raising a family here in Redford. Love it here. Love the people. Love the things we're building and doing. So happy times.
Congratulations.
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 Anybody else with an announcement? Hearing none, it's time to go home. This meeting's adjourned.
You got to kill me with that gavel.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He was talking so eloquently.